I'm honoured to be addressing you today, and I would like to extend a warm welcome to you all to this, the first Australia Awards Alumni Conference to take place in Africa. As some of you may know, the Australian government has offered scholarships to Africa since the 1960s. I'm pleased to say that we now have more than 5,000 Africans who have been trained through programs funded through Australia's Development Cooperation Program. In 2012 alone, Australia offered more than 1,000 training opportunities to 50 countries in Africa through Australia Awards.
Over 30% of our awards are in the agricultural area. Around 15 to 20% of our awards are in the natural resource management, mining governance area. 10 to 15% of our awards are in public health or water resource management. So again, we've not just wanted to say, okay, let's just offer awards across Africa to future leaders, but also how do we select people within the areas where we, as in Australia, are already investing and supporting efforts in promoting Africa's longer term development. With the Alumni Initiative, it is a big investment that Australia makes, and with that we ask a lot of you. We ask a lot of you when you do your studies, when you prepare for your studies, when you carry out your studies, and then when you return with your work plans on return, which has been a new approach that we've taken in the last couple of years. But we also see you and the investment that we make in you as something as a lifetime commitment. And we ask of you, not just at these events, but for many of you to become the advocates for our alumni program, our awards program in Africa in the coming years.
This represents a very important step forward in terms of Australia's commitment to its alumni, and I think will become a case study for all of the other high commissions and embassies around the world. So I'm absolutely delighted to be here today. Of course, it's a practical illustration of what I believe Australia's best interests are to be, and that is that we're actively engaged in the world, that we see the world not just from a political perspective, but we see it in terms of society, the economy and the environment, that Australia is in international forums, regional forums, building personal and institutional connections, being part of the global economy. We want a continuing, lifelong exercise. And I'm very, very proud of the fact that the High Commission here in South Africa and the High Commissions and embassies throughout Africa have really taken on this concept, that you're part of our family forever now, and where we can assist, we will.
We're grateful to the Australian government for the Australia Awards Initiative, which has trained more than 4,000 African professionals in the last few years. I acknowledge our AID's efforts in supporting the development of Africa's future leaders. We take pride in the fact that you have grabbed the opportunity to make a significant difference in the lives of your countrymen and women. I commend your accomplishments to date, and I urge you to continue working toward a prosperous and just Africa.
We have to invest. Sometimes we think that if we don't invest, we are going to somehow get assistance somewhere. But in the long run, Africa has to invest in food storage. If we invest in this, we can have quality products, we can stop food, those pesticides, and you see the metal silo, we can have actually virtually no food loss.
It's really one thing to come up with that good idea, good product, but it's another thing to really make sure that it is available to smallholder farmers in remote communities. And I think the shared vision that we have here is really to build a friendship, the partnership, to make sure that that bridge is not only existing for us individual to cross, but it will forever be there for other people to cross also and make the change. And to do that, it's really bringing policy makers, sub-regional organization, farmer association, everyone who is in there, probably the representation of all of us in this room here.
Around 8% of global oil and gas is located here in Africa. Furthermore, it is estimated that there remains a wealth of undiscovered and untapped natural resources across the continent. Despite Africa's considerable natural resource wealth and its overwhelming reliance on natural resources, the continent's leaders have largely failed to find a way to effectively translate this natural resource wealth into accelerated and sustainable economic development. The key to Africa's prosperity is clean, competent government that is transparent and accountable to its citizens.
Yes, the resources industry is a pot of gold. It can produce a lot of good things, but those good things will only come if it's properly regulated, if it's properly managed, and if it's properly integrated into the rest of society. Our view was, and it's certainly a view that's pretty well through Western Australian society, that the resources industry should be a sustainable industry. It should be responsive to global issues like climate change, resource depletion and biodiversity management. It should be technically, socially and environmentally sound. So I think the key factor, think big, make sustainability your principle, make good government an everyday practice, make sure the community's in the loop, integrate and connect, and most importantly, keep new technology coming in. I don't think we can say that the companies that come in to invest and establish a mine carry the full responsibility for every aspect of the development of that education system or health system. Ideally speaking, you want the government using the returns that it can make through royalties, or if it's a profit-based system, whatever the system is, investing in that community.
The leader is not always the smartest person, but a good leader is one who has a lot of smart people around them and works with them. And so it's about how do you build your teams, how do you make sure you maximise what potential they've got to help you go through. But that doesn't mean a leader abrogates their responsibility. What it means is that you've got to learn to harness other people and not think that you're the only one with the knowledge and the skills and the capacity. Coinciding with the 1967 referendum, in 1966 Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people got equal wages for work done. But prior to that, we weren't paid in money, we were paid, many people were paid in rations. From self-respect comes dignity, and from dignity comes hope, and from hope comes resilience. And that's that sort of resilience to be able to bounce back as a peoples, to be able to forge our way through, and to also create ways for others to come through. Thank you for the opportunity to present. I have been blown away by how skilled and qualified. When I go to the first Chancellors meeting in October in Perth, I'll make sure that the other Chancellors know that our investment, our universities are reaping benefits. As a taxpayer, I'm very confident that the Aussie dollar is being used in a very productive way.